Josuminia.
Bibi Abokodia.
Yankopon Adom.
Dedi kan ma me ma otrim kwaso.
Me da se papa say me stress Yankopon so nhira ba tifo nyina. Bia o mo bia.
Right. Na another yi eto say.
Me tie nsem na wo ka. Enu ntina me dey me feel say amanyosem ye politics no. Enye about individual na say the me pese menya ana say the oman no yedi.
Okay.
In fact, enuna e pia me am say me sand me hojina me di ama party no. Na me campaign me di abon kai obroni beka say so that it will prick the conscience of our party and the country, because me the koso wo man mu ha me papa na say ye da oman na no ye hu say emre na so for us to create a big departure from what is known. The ye yansesa a trajectory na enkuye.
Okay.
Me na me abrante time a ye 1992 ye Daniaba constitutional rule na soja for na hwe so be sine. Na se wo hwe baby o man no enama ese na efata se yen hwe na obroni beka se to reorient ourselves na politics na ye no yimu se ho se ye se de sum o man ye se de sum amansan anase ye de asom ye ho hwe ensuo yi na nipa timu nye ne start ye
yeah
nye ne start ye sa se mu maka ho asem a me say me sua de me sua had to do with environmental engineering. Timi who say forest obi di ye kusi for etu sana makoma, because we are see a team no ecosystem Nyankopon wa monipa nko a obo asase ansa no de ka ho de nyina ka ho na ye baako ye ntimi nka say de ye nko a ye bedi ntino sebi unko anko trensu ho me hu se niema esisi river prime na asim so we Ghana ni na wo tipra river mu finfi na o yam no sa e dey na boat im se wo nko anwunya sika wo ne wo mu a eta wo tinye sika na ye ebedidie ye ebenu nsuo ye nyina ho kire nti efata nti. That is one of my major planks of my 6-point plan when I talk about land reform and review of the whole land administration, our mining policy near the Makanwe several years ago say you has to say Ghana, you're practicing mining for well over 100 years. Now I always use Newmont as an example. And we are non buy billions of dollars to the extent to say ne one interest in mine what have no turn to Chinese for over 2 billion.
Okay.
At the time, I know more tone. That was the time that Ghana and now 3 billion. Oko ahafwa bibi papa BNC ho. Futru any hiane edetimu. Na se me de me feel say agudi a Nyankopon de aman wo yasase so ye ntimi hwe so ye generation dia. Ke enya man ka fom. Ebia na emrante na wo mo ebeba na the next generation may be better managers of our natural resources. Because Africa it's been a disaster. Because you go to all the major mining towns, or Boasio, so Pristio, so Bogoso, so Hinfon. Now here up to now. Meanwhile, Sika Abrofu Yombe tu Sagol the AD or Canada, London, in the boardrooms in Australia and the USA. It's like a mining cabal in this world. They are leeching on poor African countries. We haven't led ourselves properly. No credit air back pay. So we need a new generation leader, a new dawn, somebody nipa. Number one, courage. So be taking difficult decisions that may not even be popular, but here's a bit sacra minor. Those decisions have to be taken.
Are there dear man paying for some taking bold decisions
now because my friend say the current president they can't any problem. He is best positioned because who feel near Sako for Aba, who be completed with second term. He and also Ababu. So you are in a position to take the most difficult decisions. Tineme one say inti mistakes are a course when Ghana for to aba eti the woman is bibi enfrim. Woman is bibi enfrim. To wa videos e wuyi. Nyame na mekasa. You see the internet does not forgive or forget. So inti na wi as wo ka asem a hwe asem ni ye because 10 years e betim the asem na becha.
Playback beba.
That's right. So inti I think it is time for us as a country the leaders that kind of transformation that should happen to create development in this country. It has got to start now. And we don't think about leadership enough. If you say a good day and say a sikachicho, say a popularity contest, it is time for us to elevate the discourse. That's why I've always called for a debate. Because me feel say Ghana for here say near Ghana for MPP for Ghana for here say the way the differences and our priorities should be laid bare. I see a busa and serious questions about how we want to go over the problems in this country.
Okay.
So until you need a leadership that is focused. There's too much waste in this country. Say, we share the way we've conducted ourselves with mining. The youth in those areas were promised prosperity. And so they've been left with this environment that has been totally poisoned. Now levels of arsenic are going high. This is dangerous because once it enters the food chain, then all of us are at risk. So, I say, can say, Obi Ejuma or Didi, Obi Ejuma, the end day.
Right. When I come here, I say, your man paying justify.
Well, no, I did have Ghana. And a static kaka, who call even the development of Ghana, no keke. Uko krubia bohunu bia bosisi biasia no abo containers o honam didi edidi enti we are prepared to sacrifice planning till there's no planning in this country. The schemes don't work. We don't enforce order and discipline. Enti baby enyesi obi di edansi no de asi enti ene nsuo to ayese flats e yiri afan because temporary impoundment areas ni nyina no amanfo akosi down ho omkosi down ho so a the akosi down yes he is to be held liable nenso nyo no ho a na man no sa permit no hwanam na what district assemblies na yes me and my colleagues technical people na yes I say atwe ho maso so nobody gets punished for anything in this country. What if the various auditor general reports are eba. 1, ebebale. 2, there is no political will to recover these monies and punish people so that it sends a strong signal say the yempe. Indeed, it is time now for a new dawn, a new dimension, and a new direction. Me can say ya nyina nya san sakra ne sese ye ba abem politics ne ka say aman yosem se ye be ye oman yi na nya ma hye ye furu ma. Na ye nya nkrofo ebenya gidi nya wama no keke no mo ka me de me ma ye bida ma so mampani nkrofo in the high office of press secretary to the president and presidential spokesperson, the rank of a minister. Man fan ko toto adan anase man fan ko gigi nsase akese manye ne sa nti de nkrofo bia ye no me ma anye ne sa nti me kasa I'm very passionate about it. So because me hwede baby e de Ghana no e kwa ya na ha madwin. And ye yaman kola ni nyina feel say I said do bro ni friend no wild west no kwan bia be fa so obenyi sika bia
fellow farmers
because ye sum sika o man ye sum sika nipa bitime na social media no so amana ye worse because eno nipa didi kra na etwa na de kire se menye aduane me didi se mete first class man na metwa. So we've become a very materialistic and celebratory people I just say eno na say ye politics na say yen yanka because udi ma wunya positions is na nipa betwa ho ahia yodium we have become the enablers Instead of political leaders and presidents, best surround them with nipapa. I'm betting my hand and need money boom. I can't do one penny coin first read dear.
In Chay
and can be a yenny. And yenisa, Uko Casa and Natchez, I won't yet what to tank room. They say ostracize, cry. And so, what kind of political culture are we building in the country? Me also no na me some nipa.
Okay.
Na me share the cult a year build a party mu. Te said the tokwani idea koso ne kasa bi e koso a wo hwe party platforms nso say esimensi enya ene ye mpene so obuntin be kwa till so obenyanya se obi emma kasa ne bi e koso no busa mo say na nkrofo ye te party e bi na omu ni ho nti omu ehu ye bre na ye na ye mrante a yehu e bra mpanimfo te se ko man petru mfemu TD Brodimens no chese eniema amesi mekunum afem eke de kunum afem wo Ghana ha moro salifu num afem wo Ghana ha no enka ye nka sansem na ye keka sese
right yeah. Engineer facha me pa ye be ko sansem num yi pa na ye di party nkomo few national issues na ye nko ye nin nkomo fa party ho we are technical man now we engineer idea what is the best way to go about the fight against illegal mining? Ebi say you declare state of emergency enye ye because when yes yenye isika free mbabunu nya adwuma enye
one kasa
John Dramani Mahama say
because
or say mbabunu
man fa budget na ma ha but a private my budget near we revenue free and see what impact it makes and no dey omo kasa intiase crime no mo so nya adwene.
Okay, so as
the most important thing is that we have to enforce law and order. Na yenye pepeye equity. Ni senti na se meme wa asase agana. Na camera reforms American wasem. Meme wa masase. Yes yo ya hu say agudie bi wo ho. Lithium mo say den no obitin kran. No watro license amabro ni bi. Oba na etu afri so. O se woni aban no na aye nhihye. Wa asase no nyame dia ma wa busu your ancestral lands. One, there's no fair compensation. And even the compensation framework no kra no I will throw more light on it and make it more equitable. Say aban se obefa wa de you have to be reasonably compensated. Now mean tia say that say that is what has happened over the last 100 years plus in this country. Enti your minerals commission and necrasis technology, you can go as close as possible when you are doing exploration to know where your mineral deposits are.
Okay.
Abrofo no mo band, omo feska bi ema o. Eye leases e de ama omo no. E na omo de ko shop for sika. Na se de ma broni de ene fa magana ni. I believe in that. So who them sure. Into all these things no say yeah. Now, if we have the national interest at the back of our mind, it will be simple, very simple, because your geological service, you all the technical knowledge, if there's strong leadership, there's going to be zero tolerance for corruption. I mean, look at land administration. 107.3. Courts now, over 50,000 land cases choking the judiciary, the court system. Nina corruption here. AsaasePa ko nipa be 9 na obi wo lands commission obi wo survey department no my Canada and so there are new technologies blockchain we are available a bit man lock sane man down untimi ntampa enti it is the political will to do the right thing and high enye se bia Ghana ha makasa se message sisubio you are practicing all the economic models from economic recovery 1 2 pumps card hey pig it is clear say any models no na high it is a lack of implementation and enforcement of rules and regulations.
It's a matter of economists leading the country.
It's a systemic failure and leadership. How we hold ourselves accountable.
And me a businessman, me economist, me away.
And look at the metikra na emisi. 107.3. Na emisi. We need serious-minded people of character. Omenia brisebe sum omaino. Nye di anu na ekan wa ye bia me yehu. So we can go back into our records and check. So, and who the spirit of delivery. Say the adwuma hye won sa wo ye meye. So on them. And I think it's important that one, we need to take a critical look. And if I'm happy, say, be a president of this country. Land reform, land review is a idea at the Kesepa. And I'm say no Ghana.
Okay.
Whether it is investments, BBR. So, and then apart from that, the compensation framework should be more transparent.
Okay.
And now, look, even the way decisions are taken, the inclusion of the youth, especially at the local level,
Chiefs.
with the chiefs at the local level, in some of these decisions. So now, if we do it well and we do our planning schemes properly, Ghana, yeah, one time to say a planning permission. And now, what a planning permit? There will be any building permit. But we show you, Mrana, there should be planning permission before building permit. Because if an area is not declared a planned area, there can be no development. And in many people, na say na I hydra headed. I say who baby I want so because adults na ye bua fire so as a country. And that is why we need a new generation leader or kukudro or the courage and the competence to take the right decisions and make sure say enema yes nema. There should be a drastic departure from nema ye.
Right.
Or my team Unza is already about a friend is saying schools for
school placement.
School placement. I've never understood why central government is saddled home with that problem in the first place. Yes, sir. Near chance war. Say me person me come school. I know na be sure maybe ameko. Enti me try me first choice. My try me second choice. My try me third choice. I think those is my three choices.
Yeah.
According to wow modern boy obebono. Say school now also we no fawa ya fawa. Ya fawa do be call second choice. So there's no chance to say they now can akola biti enka hani atono akoto baby ase bi ni maame no ni ade ntimi nkohwe no. With all this confusion appearance they do say no BIM ni ade. Why should it be centralized? Say. And I think it happened during Kofo's time. It's one thing I wasn't happy with it.
School placement?
Centralizing the whole thing. Say, because a bia maybe pesemeko opoku area. I want am pesemeko. Semichiro exams na man qualify for opoku area. Mete me ho asese man qualify. Nti fa me come second choice. Me come second choice na hoso me di na nso na say ye ma. Take me to my third choice. By the third choice the menya baby. Ni nyina ye me choices.
Okay.
Now say placement no more no. It's riddled with confusion. Yes, in Crofobin a code so said confusion. So until me maybe as government in I mean tell say you high hosa. All from this JSS system a buyer and also Rollins Kodis from IMF Kroya Bio. Umbe dada and say the education and say son and a practical JSS buyer. Almost a practical you improve. I say, because now, instead of first year, you 11 years, 12 years, we free fee. No, I boarding house. Until you two upper season near when you need discipline was solid, training, Usranopa, who near my Ubeko, Udiagro, Boko dog, also cleaning toilets. By the time we drew from 5, you're a well rounded human being. Who are respectful even the war from 2. The way so to say because in fans room say we are say you bet 2 marks. Yes, you my own cook room. Yes, we free Kumasi a person you
yeah.
Na I can't watch it them. So all these things are very important. And no na aha because some people took that decision. And na education no crime in Tia Ghana pen the only place that they be any tinker with education. And then we bows my for. We bows my for. How? Britain, America, the system has been there for years, time tested. Why can't we follow the same thing? So, a hard drink, we should a month for go through. Say, results are back. Then not all.
Not all, yeah.
Why? It was never the case in the past. So, and then we have unduly politicized everything in this country. Makasa, this country is now stridently divided polarized beyond recognition. Into Kwabena BM, oh, we are MPP ni, we NDC ni. Public service I hear some of my state entity Ghana there. And I was so traumatized me who say NDC for by power. Na enkrofo Kwabena. Na party for di wanchi. Who baby yes party for I go take it over. And then they cry the matter de miracle. Say regional minister or northern region. Demonstrators kono the petitioner command.
Yeah.
Osma NDC regional secretary. Is that true? No cry and I say
this time.
I don't know. But if it happened, I'll be very surprised. Because we should not mix party with government. They are two separate entities. Party is a vehicle. You be elected government, not government, not be sumo mining. Because when you are president of the CPP, the PMP, the MP, everybody. Of course, in him say, you see, akokoba obeying sanity. There are advantages to be gained, or because your party is in power. And I'm going to be honest, that's how it is. But we need to restore meritocracy and professionalism into our country. Those are the things I have you. I'm very passionate about the direction of this country more than even my chances of being president. Hear me.
Engineer, because you're a technocrat in your.
Well, maybe to a certain extent, yes, but how and why? I have been a technocrat before. My age, Ghana Highway Authority as a young engineer. And I know what I did. And sometimes you have to stop some politicians. I quite remember as a young civil engineer, supervisor, they are close to Kotoka International Airport. And they are close to because there were some cracks on the runway. And they say, emergency, 24 hours, my partner, to make sure that then calculate na CP, na air overlay. But they were so politically connected in the PNDC times. And no one say, me young man, me too. And I told them, I'm a small fish. If I'm fired, I don't care. But I made sure the right things were done. And the guy's face was red. Because, you didn't go according to the standards. The laying temperature was below what is provided in the standards. And to remove that section. And I insisted on it. And my chief executive, may he rest in peace, Mr. Kweno, he backed me on it. So until we the technocrats, no, yes, it is true. I say because the technocrats are more political than politicians. The Obroni friend, eye service, no, and so they are ingratiated. They are trying to roll over themselves to the politicians.
To appeal to the politicians.
That's right. So you didn't know and rise by merit. No, or the political connections and rising your promotion. Into Niema Mfatano cry say, Minister no can. Why so so? Opening Mr. This is how we should do it. No, onye, no fun. So we are heading towards systemic failure in our country because there are a lot of technical organizations. I mean, if you say presidents should not be tinkering with how the place is run. Of course, in say Article 71, my president can say on appointed chief executives. I mean, places like my place, Ghana Highway Authority, or Yemfanse Cocoa Board, or TOR, GMPC, VRA, ECG, GAPOA. These are very technical organizations. And for alcohol, I started from school. They have that institutional knowledge of the place. So, so we are president. I'm sure you can find competent people at the top and appoint. But not only are they now appointing at the top, presidents are even going down to organization be or now they need deputies. They are appointed 2 and 3. Just until we are over politicizing, and now they are saying they are core security establishments. In my Ghana police force, even the army. Look at what happened after the changeover. They say about 20 of the top generals have been sent home. Yeah. Why? Why? The fact that they work with the government does not mean they're sympathetic to that party. You have to be professional. And I know most of our soldiers and our police can be professional. Me can't say because I worked under Kufo, President Kufo times. Why, yes, sir. He was not beer because na afena or no, he's laid that groundwork. I can say by now I follow. Because I can make 1 or 2 examples of it. Namfuri ebeto no Namfuri who Ghana had because no I BNI director during the military dictatorship.
Yeah.
And so ebeto as IGP no. The Mafufu said the day after inauguration they say pam no. Debi o man no running the course. And son walk for Usupuku who was the next in line. No immigration. They didn't buy police. Oh so na kan kakrebi. Oh yeah and sana. E ko for Usunsia.
Then I must adjoin no assistant free home.
Because political leaders are not able to stand their ground. No enough good people around. No yama. The parties are swamping them. So you should have a leader who is strong enough. Yes, when say party in Dubai, when you independent candidate,
yeah,
but party as but also so as no more transi. And we said we na me feel say me yeah be boa mine no be boa bia because party for ni be there. The party na aba power. It is a fan say cake no. That is wrong, and I'll always stand up against that.
Right.
My cancer.
Right. Maybe I feel what joining me. Your engineer Kwabena Agyei Agyepong and Edin Komo. You be the party in Komo pa, but in Yabutre with the brain soon. I'm the man. No convert or break. Yeah, you be the betting Komo now for your party in Komo. We engineer the me my own call. You are dear be a Kosovo Ghana. Teacher in Crambu Pudimantamwa. A man for who say annual rituals. I feel be a basic into your fan normal flooding. A DB a dream. Maybe a tramoni who be one crying. She said, "Dear, o qua sentimental, o call a mantam almost, baby, as if flooding a coso." Then you bet me, I as an engineer. Then you bet me, I saw my
flooding there. Say, we are see baby, your friend extreme events.
Okay.
It's missy. From Japan, near the missing, it happens. And no interest, I wouldn't mean taking engineering measures that will bring friend mitigation. Say, BB, I'll bet me, I saw a no. Now, whilst I design resilient infrastructure, I say, BBC, I bet me I recover and restore it back to service. Some of them shown, and only here. And for instance, me quite sorry, Mount Sinai, Kwabena Methodist.
okay.
Me starting me so I me quite sorry in the 90s in na Kwabena right on na hot down. Me so na me nan for because your Hall of Technology me on for hydro department. Na why I say temporary drainage basin. It's a die extreme event rainfall bino. A hono is like an impoundment. Just a hono and be caught tire. And then the basic principle about stormwater management, your friend said, hold and slowly release. Because ensure there won't mean anything, ensure what didn't say be there. But a brochure near the plan on the answer a tornado nearby. Utmi divert me to areas and akojina honaja and sana for speed nina ama budan senema. Share a bribipo. And as a Shega Accra has a share a map, your digital map. From 1900, it be seen green renal hano. Yeah, eroding nina makabe, I think it's less than maybe 18% naka. Ena, if we say vegetation or ensure to MMM. Some of them show a friend percolation.
Yeah.
MMM into and running off. A bear mema to time, yeah, friend say a bear saturated. Not just intimate cobu. Na afidia cannot ne friend run off. Neko kakra. Say unya ko juisa assassin so. Now we tiles or her. Ensure na turning na intimate reform. There is no percolation, zero. The 100% runoff. What did they mention as? In the ensure air ban say no air dorsum. And at first, because there was vegetation in Accra, no say ensure to a bria. Can say a tracer studies be a check. Now in times past it could take about 6 or so hours and sign a drew or done. We said the last time they did it, it's less than 3 hours. Because and they would share. Now say be almost a slippage be by every
yeah,
because Nkrofo sit down, baby. I don't know who in the assembly gave them the permission in those dangerous slopes. No, the slopes have become unstable. The slopes, in fact, we should be so Kaswa Kwanza left.
Yeah,
McCarthy Hill.
Yeah.
Because you saw near a school fans more, but when you green over fear, and then you know, Why are we doing that to ourselves? So, because one way say at the front of service delivery, the assemblies. They are the ones who are the direct interactors with the people and are service providers. Assemblies no capacity no ever form. Nancy and I'm executive director Ghana Institution of Engineering. I'm a little audit of their works department. Out of the over 260, less than 20 engineers who are properly chartered and qualified in their positions. I don't know what is the situation now, but it goes to tell you, say, it means that their works departments are not headed by competent people who have the capacity to manage. And one thing we've also done in this country, I feel something say up to now. Yesterday, Fourth Republic, 110 districts. They say you're 260. I don't know the pressure. Yeah, district. Who says you can't develop a place? Change all district answer. Until now in Accra, instead of having one big Accra Tema Metropolitan Authority that had a global reach, I want to plan engineering planning, here across boundaries. So until say, you be for drainage, it has to be a Accra basin. It has to be basin-wide approach. Untimi constituent say districts no. Turn left now or Kolokolete, cross right now Ayawaso, Upia now or Okakwe. Adeng. So it is chaotic. What I've the balkanization of Accra and Kumasi, and also managing the engineering functions has become difficult because if we are saying functions now are critical to us: the housing, roads, water, waste management, engineering functions. And this chaotic assemblage of district in Abano, the difficulty in managing the engineering functions because DC business or you'll be jealous of Nitefa. Across 5 districts and now 5 constituencies. Who is in charge of it? So them shown. And we have systemic issues in this country. And these are things that as a technical person, president, we have to work and roll it back. I was talking to some experts in local government. Say, I think perhaps now we may have to take away the engineering functions and see the management of the engineering functions has to be different from the political arrangement with the assemblies.
But you can achieve, mammy. Hear me.
You know, the Anna. Intimation say, "Enfant say, she say you are lejukuku ha. Okay, you are la de dekotupo. It's just a bank. Let's say, oh yeah, choir. A choir no say drainage na we desire. A fabed assemblies bear and nine. Why are in charge of the design? One is responsible for maintaining standards, quality control. And none feel say as a isolate the money. What's been secretary? City of a human so engineering a human so from political name. Okay. Okay. And those are the things I feel say or mine. So into your over politicizing name, into baby or I see your competent handlers. No. Now we just put in political hacks who don't have the competence and dear meeting their yes I human. Idea as Ghanaians SSS.
Right. Engineer, me basta see near departing komo. You do mind komo, but party na be mo be man pain no. Di be departing komo se sia. Me ba. right ma me mu adwona me mu akwa bia fe no abeke ho aha Afiema Radio 103.3 Wokofodua Eastern Region, Mining City Radio 89.5 Takwa Asase 103 wo Cape Coast, Asase 99.7 wo Tamale, Asase 98.5 wo Kumase ha AsaasePa 107.3. Yanmre ya engineer Kwabena Agyepong na AD and Komo former General Secretary the MPP. And now what the actually ampunyankopon adaroma wa converting committee nim amia vetino brofono so vetting ya bisa nsem de entia wo pese wo lead party no na wo beye mampanyini wo de ne niswade hunu akoto party for anim ma yenin komo emfa party hom engineer vetting ko say de dika
oh ko bibia ko boko ko hosusu no ya na etaka say nyensem ni nyina na e kan wo inside betim dia beto abontin
right,
but generally it went well.
Intimidation beyond so fair questions in the course.
So I think they were very fair, very friendly. Obia se minimum nyina almost nyina so nim me.
I was a minimum now nim me. Ntimi ba woni me so unse minimum.
It went well.
Hey, take you I was saying.
You know, what I cried 1.5.
Wow.
1.5 hours. I mean, there were a few areas of contention, and then my candidate. But we think there will be all these things. So, as a political party, media hear me say, yen the entire yen party for Anto Aba Amaye in 2024. Nti yinim sadia esi esua bibi firi na etie wo masem na ede tutu ho na ehu sesa ni die enkabom tu ho ache kasapa enuado a na wo ekuyi mu a na adodo na pesi yeku ye homa eku no a ene obeka se ayira no sa sunsun no ensamra back.
But I say why you general secretary pen I say MPP as a political party is playing the entire 2024 MPP lose general elections.
I say it's plenty.
Maybe say yes say you best play MPP for because what chim the entire party no lose and you way and
I when the ya to we ya to we. Enti the uhia ne say ukoye reviewer we di be to kotodwe. No we sua nyansa afri. Eno de yem fa meto abonten e me bo ho deru. Yes, I mean, say Asase FM mo ye strategic meeting na mo ye mo plan. Say mo fa me to abonten. Mo be hwe mo weaknesses, mo strengths. Mo compare to mo competitors. So, na mo dia tu mo ho. Nti yen na esi ye tu ye ho fo. So, ne hwe ne me bia, suban bia, amwa yen a eno nti ekodi ntwo no. Na yasesa sa suban no. Because obroni say uye Niema we and you get if you repeat the same things,
you get the same
result.
Yeah.
So, me feel say Emrenason as a political party say we take a critical look at it. 2 minutes so party for no me I'm hoping say delegates no baby omu tie me. Woman sem na 2 minutes. Na danam se me ba lada de kotopon na obi busa me say nkam omu wo so nam so 2 minutes mun sem na. Ena obia nti na ye tu obia ye wu nipa ye tu ne din
yeah
enti munim wo mo a e kuntoka wo party no you know them enti wo na wo pe nkabom po obia ne hodwo wasom ekuo no acha nim ekuo no fapem onim party fo bre onim wanante a okai musu a edru ha wonim nipa ese oto aba
nti nyo obi kura ne be ka kire osese.
So, because about to a country, and now back to a da from 2028. And I'm a Casa Semwe. Say Ghana for ya Jia to say every year president. And say at least 8 years they say the more because on a phone, sir. Because the man could feel cry, I can't find about the Abecan. It is a chance to say, dear Obaba be the president, being 8 years now. Oh, the party for 4 years, he did a day in a bit hard labor. Nemum, yan shiny ye. Na ye nya obia ne hojo Ghana for be ginedi party for be hwe na kasa we de okay ebu afukra we de da bi e be kwa kota na chi do you need somebody who has to win back our lost flock? Because on food say nipa bi entretu on ye twa won agya. On be kai se Kwabena Agyepong you be ono de me fan say pu bi e twa na agya party wi pa na minimum headmaster. So enti omusun
ebe yosun
eye mi sun.
Okay.
Because empabo a ehye no mu na mu hyehye won a me na me hye ne kese. Nenso so me sum osono no without fail. Enti osono ni hia me nye nipa because makada me ne edubu ahen adwuma abrante emsa nso minya akokudro those is entese ne o ata me upi nipa ko gina television so abop party hu derua ne nya bi me di fi aduasa. And so the courage no me de be ho ebo afore ti me ka niema me nsa me say me fapem service so obesom sacrifice so do ho be bo afore selflessness say bibi she wonu kwa betime yi ama de obi ni bia nyama no keke na me de ka. I have demonstrated it in my life in this party because time I pem na mpenifo ho ni papi enyi say me but na it was life threatening to say we MPP ni ne soldier for na hwe so betime akotran television so abodero say yen to abama Professor Duboham yen to ma soldier ni a obetran so
right engineer menim say when you setbacks yeah Mamintio. When you see setbacks be brave or NPP mu, disappointments be brave or NPP mu, you want Crawford or Mantimi and Standy. Sadi and Bape, him, no more free party, Sadi and about secret there, then the Maunya, Sa a Kukudru says still. Senia, could one a Namas Rochinesu could be an Obekakudru. And then Yami, a dear grammar.
Near mammy, swim free penny for and bet 2 or more farmer. To watch do mo ye di no hwe na o man Ghana through MPP no ntino ade amesua bibia fim na meso me hunie ma bi wo party mu e kire se enkabom any party ye fapem if you say 92 ye mrante no na ye young executive do na na support Dr. Safoedu me ka say dia besi asem so enso Professor Duboham winning with Legon oni eko ma Dr. Safoedu say yenko mboa no Safoedu ampame say yan support no ogiawa wa tu ntina me kotra TV so say me ye campaign me dem ho be boa for any ehu me ye adwuma wa banjuma me so me sacrifice 98 bia na we abrante me ka wo mo na di Nana Akufo-Addo time we ne first presidential attempt dini Ghana had 230 constituencies. Ikodu sunya President Kufuor candidate Kufuor then ede eto form. Mr. Kufuor ankasa ya opportunity on twe men no. Osan die ban no ho to the extent say me in the lead up to 2000 election. Me now my as a director of communications for this party adverts TV so radio so to the extent say nka obi a obefan say one support no. Nenso so Electoral Commission ka se Kwabena wo na ko ne ko hwe maba
Gina Daruma page microphone ka kra bi kwasuma me da
ko hwe maba
okay
ewo Electoral Commission
okay
we nyina ya ade a mesua se party enkabo sa unity no se yinya to abawi a na yewie na wo kan bibi se ede ne mame ahoden sa ne ma nyina mame ahoden obey president wan kase man opportunity o mame men Mama Juma pa the press secretary the president too na watim to I can pan me and nine cry wo ye meeting utimbi ti misua ne ma pafri ne nchen na futuo ne nimdie ne nyansae ne nkaye ono hu party for free yi wanchi obeka papa we na ekoi na obo ne din ohu say Sunday na what time na obo ne din chief driver na yendi ti ni nyina ya de a me di sua ye so my who say bibi to wo party mu a eno nkyere se wo party no free na me kwa asem eto me na da wi amoka na tro bi se ye chichiri me kakra me be general secretary ye to aba ma me power tamale me ko tamale minya accident anyankopon tin ne mete ase me nsem bu pain as say dade edeshim enso so eda no mitimi yire me ho sre nyame ma me ahode ma mtimi kopie tamale na me pija me sese man kasa po na beda 37 back. To abama me in my 2 years as general secretary me na me chairman eniema e de efa mu entro ensemu enim Ghana has a ade e hayen ene bibi obroni friend slash and burn say e bitimi atwa tro ato nipa so ne ase no ne apamatare a hyewo uremro na me no party no donti no that time no kra man kasa eno nche se de esiye no na mepew me niema me nim wo party mu me na mkase me nim panimfo ni nyina na ntimpanimfo bia ni ozo a onimi wo party mu eniema wo mutumi de bi bekowuo to just to protect the party se me yo mo e kasa by heart se me bia ma no Ghana hasia Kenya sem ketwa nenso so entite pa papa de tete me ni mampanikufo no ni BJ Darocha no mpanifo a me ne wo nante no say you have to protect the elephant intermediate ekoba ne say ye kokeken semwa enim just because me strengthen party me mafem no all politics is local ntimi ka say constituencies no na say mo nya hoden ntimi ka kire me chairman afoku at the time say chairman ye hwe na ye make sure say you strengthen constituencies no o say ye nkoso you can say every constituency emi account adentra because me di president kofo echiche no da bia wono odi komo no twa ma humor o say Kwabena sika politics sika o de sma e fa we nsem na fa we nsem ba han hwe a e free be handling charges wa hwe ya ba time e say kodu be nasa ntimi yes no ma be general secretary you make sure say sika e de ko constituencies no e say ko direct ni nya nipa 9 omo signatories chairman secretary treasurer for Baba Konkao, most of them were women organizers. Miss yeah, the first 10,000 kuma or more pena. A man for tears waiting because ne binum feel say, that region and untin. Essay, Bia, ma or one, son, I'm said debi. The essay the bremo, Modibeshemo Juman, the bebremo. Then so constituencies no, a honor hodino, a honor party no. Electoral area coordinators wo on a polling station on adwumaden omo ne nanem fie mbubo demu ebubo posters adwumaden dia ma party no ena chese ubete se be suspend the way chairman afoko a enkrofo ye se etuna ade so ede boni pa no ye up to now say about power 8 years metwem omo ne accuse ye say ye ede boni no ye onu podie me fa ne se okoya nkansa mangu no so na me de omunum se party for permanent yense me sebi me penmu amabo bra wo Ghana ha ansa na ye papawa na mesimi dan wo Islego nye ne anamafo a ne omanye sika omso omo Islego me mesimi dan 1999 2000 me press secretary na me te Islego na me te at that time from my sweat and toil from me majuma den yankopon de chira me as a civil engineering consultant na me tio na etimi twatro to me so say ka me makoto me wa me ko tamale no ka no ebim na me tio so who pictures na say na Land Cruiser na me Land Cruiser na konya accident na ye write off na ma ye ne kakra free kwa na master titua ne kakra yes yen cancel monto no so me yira ono or ye lecturer up to now say we director of global education or Unimac ono ko ni school 2012 and males ye president na ye timi abopo ye nse me ye say NDC for na ama me package na samba akwisi obi say obeton ne ho ama ebe Kwabena Agyepong na dem nkai history of this country June 30th Agyei me ensa omu during PNDC time ye kochi o manajuku ya na nkan papa se me yesa na me papa na oda amenemu a every year me de flower okoto no so na de asem na me ka kire enso yes ye nsa ni panenti ne ya ka se mo na party fo ni bia jedi that time ma hihye bibia ma ya primaries fe in one day we handled over 251 primaries they been Ghana sada at one go nti minim se bibia me pese me sorry na ko de na ye victory nim se 2016 na eba ebe boy man carry party ne ho donti
wow
me tifie kra no me san di sika kakra support constituencies ni bebrebe you know evidence no so intimidate party no na mepe me so party no sana mpenifo no etete me sa so na papa tete me sa so na nyankopon aka kire me methodist ni me so nyankopon methodist is service to humanity, service to God. So discipleship why can methodist and can intimidate me so party enti bibia ni ho ebe me party mu a ebuma bem because even like the same catch 2016 cry my year near my shishe bibia nti ikonya 169 o menim no kra nim say adwuma pa ne no kra aye the year primaries na amfa basabasa ama no eno na meyenya our largest victory since the Fourth Republic if we say hu de ekoye 130 and say nam say 80 say so enti me de me feel say we ase wo akoma pa wo adwempa
tumfita
na utumi efita na de obroni frɛ no contentment
that ni so de wo bia
de nyankopɔn ma obi na nka me 10 years ne e ka me hye uhumi atu se nyame ahwɛ me because ketua bi nyame de ma me bia no mani so saa so na mpɛsɛ me jawo eche wo nchirimanum. That is the legacy I want to bequeath to the oncoming generation. Say politics no nya ho ne ko tamska nti ene beti esi we akusi hotel ha we esi school ha we yesi o ba se o besum o man no me in the 6 years I'm a sum president before man go sisi adan man ko pray aban niema man nya ne sa nti me can because I've had the opportunity. I did not do it nti me catch the party for so much is on pobia or tese or te wo mo bre ase onim party nase onim party ni fapem and therefore has their welfare at heart omo ye die wo makoma so na me so ye ka compassion tema empathy me will be because papa we na misa me bre ya nkasa die wo bedie ba bi a obeda nti me kire ba bi a matena si akwada matena hosimu da matena me aso achim tafo no ne because no madam for pa achim no ofresi akwa nti ye makwan na menye ba bi na se me ne ko no ko tena osim so nti me hu se obi ni bibia minim I know that what the person is feeling nti me dem esre party for no tumi no omsem na mo na mo sun se niema nko yi ama mo nti mo ama abonten kra meto aba nti mo hu obi a otesem no so ya kana hye obekae mo onim party ni fapem onim panimfo no aye adwuma from mfitiase eda ye koje ye friend say provisional license ye nam free kokomlemle na ba bi e vetting no ye nam form I see kwenum Teresa Tego num Rosemary Kwam num na ye koje wo electoral commission and san e di ko bukom square friend say nyahota maklo num nti obi a otesa no mesumi obi o de adwuma ma me ameye and everywhere I've worked I've left a mark. Nyamenum tie na nkrofo broadcasting say you can sports broadcasting.
Yeah, I know.
I would say I was the pioneer, the trailblazer. Because me started here sports highlights. Let me say 25 years. I was about the youngest, then Tensi. Ghana had one television network. Now 25-year-old was hosting sports highlights. I'm a Takwa Bruce, long vax near Dekaka. And no cry those days and say no, ye kosriska, Kobobusia, Ghana was near 6,000. Bobusia 2,000. I'm the full playing Kobojuma, my back campus, no baby, San and no. It was hard work. I'm quite who say, almost sports Olympic Games near the Okwam Fasu and follow Jim Rosenthal, no, I didn't me buy me who. Papa Otilabadi says, we had the 90 years, director of sports, and or Dimico television, friend Henry Ako. I'm a Costrano. Oh, they me see, that was the first time commercialization of broadcasting a buy because me na me the BNSM koto tie, no koto shirt, no to jacket.
Langobia is supposed to get tie for me.
And say ja, NTS and I'm say company be the Adiva shirts. So what's in that?
Adiva.
Aye. Na mko kacha se be madam for no. Mami shares me ma promo kakra. Enti for commercial department papa and crimes were from to lie.
O message charge o.
O money me kontoka. Na am say mo tuya me kai mo mami shares na fe so obi be man bia.
And so money me be ko.
For the first time we had a crawler at the bottom of the picture say
sponsored by
wardrobe by Adiva shit.
Okay.
And no, leading up to 1990 World Cup, me ko hu Jacobichi Bilamte. That time no me chief executive of Lintas, one of the largest advertising na am kakachi and say World Cup no for the first time pese Ghana for who live. No cause na ibe dey tuaka. And I'm sure you be panel discussion. Until you be advert sponsors. No, who provide this. That was the first time in 1990 Ghanaians watched World Cup live.
Wow.
Those are some of the innovations I brought to broadcasting. In fact, the first telephone call to the studio, red phone, phone that I tried to say when it was all at my instigation. Never go high and can intermediate. Umami ejuma. Me President Kufuor time. We all knew how we introduced the private media into the presidency. So that time, president na we media be na call. All this time, castle bit ma call. Debbie. Into all these daily, weekly briefings and it was my innovation I brought to bear to the extent that me free Mukran President Kufuor found it to award me National Order of Volta officer category. Intermediate, I'm somebody who delivers. Okay. As General Secretary in my short stint, I delivered 169 seats. I want to assure the delegates and say, "Omonye jidie umemu." Many obi abetimi aka party na bom because many obi ani asem. Me nkasantia obi a. Obi as me no obi a adwuma party mu. So when I become the leader, I'll become the glue that will weld together this party. Unity so na here. Me dey me jidi say party we. Say ye nyina tie ho ase. Na nuado no ho. Na nkabo no ho. Na ye dosu sin NDC for. You beat me Agyei power in 2028.
Right. My name is a campaign. So those say now Govt. What started call out.
Yeah.
Tongue say man for and attacks on personalities. Ma who say koso sikasem so koso man for kan you sky any wusika you beat my party no. Sa personal attacks on any sikasem wa omudira campaign no eto saying engineer.
So AsaasePa bi kan. So pa busa I've been to 16 constituencies for Greater Accra. Wachina na me start me next 16 nti wachina obom domia bra wage anom ho na be nenam so na chese me up to Saturday me wa Accra say obia onim na kasebia na Kumasi. I've done the 11 constituencies in Kumasi. Bia ho say me monfo no na di me ho adanse because me no me ndwa manum nipa pia maboa won time me wa ben ma menkai nti party for no mo na sorry ana e di dance say oh na de me ba ko ha una ma me yese una ma me yese ni nyina efe nenso abade e aba nti me de hia me ne se me de ani die be ma party no me de me ko constituency by constituency de me say nya me say o ma me ahoden eni ska kakra do beto petrol mam de gu kam ya ko da hotel na metimi a chin around cause be bia me ne party for na kasa bia no. The feedback I'm getting is very encouraging. Just almost to say no, ye party ni pa obeka party ni go. What is a makazeti obi? Maybe.
But yeah, what your tax na ya net to saying?
Me them feel say AsaasePa be kafa one. Who waste with time with attacking people. So me feel say a dianim say party has a choice to make. Maybe when I say a choice to make, it's either you want some drastic change because you've tried something, it hasn't worked, and I think I am a very viable alternative for the party. Team, me the mesre party for no. Omon kai Agyei pe obi a wasum party no. Efri tete munim no. Uhumo betima kai mo abomuden. Eni mo anante woni mo bre. Ah, na me ka se 1996. Eda na me ware me yire. Eda na so na mo training bro have. Ye wedding near the Nina Nopana. Me say, Miss Rome, one man could soon rana and you may be dinner and this anime maker.
Ah, why you?
That November 23rd, 1996, there were witnesses.
Wedding day, no.
Minam Cashro. Mija Hokoye training was Sunyane. SU Detias, SU Beni, or say Agyei, former foreign minister, or Nika Mukrani, the Koya training. By if you whole life in your maybe you didn't an I feel must say, hey, politics in here, I was in BBA. But I'm just telling you the extent to which I may.
Was several parties.
Apart from that, me the Odi Jumamia. And say I'm a conservative as executive director of Ghana Institution of Engineering. Busa engineers, and they will tell you the impact I made. Enti me srewomo say here and kabum. Party no here and kabum. We are Timmy, we are coming. And one more ntina na nsɛm me ye proposal senka ye benya ye me vote electoral college no.
Okay.
Na all party officers are one party that from polling station electoral area constituency umiem no be anya voting right ebi mu se empene se dien de no musro because party ade high pa ye polling station.
Yeah.
Yes bibi de mafia o se sen ha isi anadwo yakoye elections ye yiwa free into who call constituencies ni bi ha. There are a lot of polling station executives that omu di yaw tifie me feel say senka omu tie masema kasa ya unu nyina akọ because why ye bi danko ade a ye ma voting right into say nekra ho kase enkoye electoral polling station elections ke munye hu kese wo mu epese beye adwuma no ene ba begina because empempi no na nipa no pi refi say polling station adwuma no eno na ni party ne fapem na nye delegate assembly. There's no position such as delegate in the party's constitution. Name adwuma din a polling station for ye no ene so party eni a yesisi ye beyi mpanimfo a mo na mo be yesi ahenefo. So enti ene maybe a mekobia former executives mse o Agyei atum from constituency level no. Me kanya or national council ebinum se yempene. Oh na me antiase because enken de harmony abotoyemu beba party because there yan say wasum party in times and any me hu to say 92 ne ade binum ton ye dan no binum de hu boafo nti enkola pia o ma power e chin ko hu say on papa no ye twa wo maja ana om sum party na
o manya reward bia
sanity sometimes a recognition keke say ene me call meetings I would say from executives no kra ba more o akenya wo mo say ene wo mu nyina so nim say kom na Agyepong advocacy ameye no eno ho mfa so ena abai so intimidate me feels a party there eno ane nipa nti nyame ya madom no me be presidential candidate bia e be canvas ya make sure say obi a wasom party no bia de e to abai so to be to the extent say in future no e say timi nya say what to would use we a member of good standing there so to me to aba because sense of belonging say me ka ho me so metimi kire madwen
bu anu anope
so enu so na ne ma ne yire ne ade nyina hwe so na nsan bi mi ko kuma se na mfrɛ former executives bi am na omudi nkom ba ko ache o ma me frɛ no so o yeso kutuka na yire se mo nko adan na wo kra wo free ho obi fiu na mse na yire kra na e kase na ne ma so be kase so it's a very big problem the way to deal with nipa 2.5 million and to abayeno is to produce a leader. Because they know near my misma femu, then so my bamu to say they're working. Because said they okay, binum jai, binum su a dear buffo, sembebre, but made them feel say party no. I say a vehicle like a deco. 10 years we have to protect the sanctity of the political party that we belong.
Engineer, so what can say as a MPP for sign call back to
the roots, yes.
Service and loyalty. Now, Patrick saying.
And no near some mammy no I can. So, say she will be a while can't say near mammy firm. Man, sorry, and party no thing. So, although what I went through was painful and unjustifiable, na sebi eni nyina so bia nanso so me my party ni interest ni here me see me personal interest to the extent that even in 2016 me ya come here to nchen kwa me san ko boy enti that is the kind of loyalty say gidie no na me feel say party for no wo form no ese e Kenya wo mo na the importance say me omo ni me set am me press secretary no oba me officer na ma one me secretary for no say so obi ba na abusan so oni appointment ade a me de beyo what the pan be african tampo na ba o mre nkwa na obetwen till after bed 2 amene maybe president kufu adwuma baka se twen wo ba mo na jubi kra 10 it say dem doctor me clinic no na so sa na ese ba no party for no sometimes no me say me number me use as press secretary na no am dey use me say san da obi
oni no use number we changing the number
obi oni me 020 obi nim say no am dey use from 2001 I'm used to that number as press secretary to the president because I think say obi wa no hia so be kan sem bi na atona koma so ye ni nyina na yesika nti ene me tese nkrofo odwaye no mu kensem akese ne ade a the kinds of contributions and the sacrifices a nipa aye no untimi mfas you can't put a figure on it in this party so on them children penifo ni bi okra ansa na president kofo be wen no ma frim ko man petunum so adwuma omo ye wo party mu emma penifo ni bi e bodin a oba ya free fanom chese me can me nkanwie
right
so
me critics say what is a critics can say build up to 2024 January elections engineer Kwabena Agyei Agyepong ebua MPP nipa no tu franka dia ma MPP o support no na bi obeko bia ono akra no play significant role so why now our person would jina ebeto say
oh asasem no mse ma yi no baby bebre na mse mo ye ne sa na chese nipa na waye adepa no na chese mo de so bo mo bebo me because mo pese mo chese se to aba wie do be wen mo bia nkota na chi because next time no se nipa no so okobia okwa na chese wanya asem da bi nya sa na ye ku ede te
okay
ye to abatam bia ye to odubu ahenso aba 96 ye to kufo so aba 1998 ena die hia kese ne se ye to aba wia te se de adubu ahene safo du ye a memi hu ya 92 ye to aba wia unhu se we sel bi nipa we da bi na ni ho sa de kufo ye 1998 unhu se ye ni de akufo adu achi so fa me se ne ba eno na ehye mitrim 2023 say na me ka ho I was one of the 10 me wo gidi say suma me a metimi aye adwuma pa I have the knowledge, the vision, the intellectual capacity, and the institutional memory to become a very good president. Enti media minim say ye toma me ye adwuma so mo man na page na si kwampa so. Enso ye koto ya anyi ya data na bufu hwe na tension aba party no. Nipa bi kasa se ne man koyi asisi wo mu ya bu nipa yese na me yese debi ese me ma abotoye mo ba. I was the first one to come out openly. Says look yenya to abanewi me who se party for no I take decision opani no omse omutane nyina yenko boa no me so me yima nim se me ya de a what you see is what you get.
It was a positive decision.
That's right. Me Patrick's we are say yima kumem ono anim no strings attached. Musa no question bi me am yima kumem se me boa wo ni chinga na ha nyina ye na anye. So that electoral cycle e wie December 7 ye na anye yi eno no nkyere se ye bie new cycle untimi contest after all me started contesting 2007 na me abrantie pa na mo 44 years and I've had that premonition say o man Ghana nyankopon obibi mami so yes I will be man 6 so
okay
my birthday Independence Day nti I have a feeling say there's something nyankopon person ode me ye ebo man if for nothing at all the conscience of this country me de ekoso o man ma say we ka say sikasem adore yen social media na mana ye west any suban asesa sebi obi betimi tena television so say crowd obi atimi ye de ope o hye dem crowd no critics station na odi mpanimfo atem na edi nkrofo atem sa suban is completely Ghanaian. Yeah, Ghana de tete yen say ani die ne kasapa enna na ye de te oman mu so hu dem chiri enti I'm here first and foremost me stress party for no omo endwene omo dachi because wo dachi ne here de ne ubenya
right meaning some go free asante mantemu And Asantimantamu is the basket of the MPP. Now, na untimi fa sa asem no any enkomo. We want to so between SVP votes in Ashanti region more.
Oh, nye Hong Kong. Me catch us me ye o me Kumasi. Me call primary school Kumasi. And so me nyini Cape Coast because when I'm called secondary school. And I'm very fair one kind. Usukin ka we haya. So to me the me I say me who ganyo Jimmy. So the be sure. Enti me pese me I believe say we are Ghanaians first and foremost. And I want politicians to see themselves as Ghanaians first and foremost. On my name or my name here. And son I dream baby free. Yes. That's where I come from. Baby I'm free there's something me. Me my friends of Koromampo this year or say I me as Koromampo we me new penny no. And say I could see na cranichi. Me papa free you. And they say me who that is what it is. And most importantly, when this wadi huno usu ni mo ban de waye wo man no mu minim say dodo no a wo gidie wo because me yisu bampa e de akire wo ntama me yo ma na say me bia kwa press secretary ka ba na wo videos ke ye bo bibre say me obi me say bi me ansa na me kasa na me fa ho adwen
Right.
It's far reaching to me ka asem bia maka bia na ebam me ka say me general secretary na party fo bi akogina Germany ADD President Mahamatem using unprintable words, placards. I'm a catch them say no, it's not good. Na me pese a future President Akufo-Addo. Mensa. And some we call United Nations and NDC for because I will be true baby. Oh, Prophet Kwabena Agyepong. I'm saying prophet. Agyei koso na nya o man mu. Nipa bi mpese ye ka. Kasa ni bi e koso o man mu ehunte. Ye nya isa suban no. Nya sa na Ghana ye ntete se obebie wa no wadidi obi atem oya akola akra eni natem kampese panimu so enti niema ne bi koso o man mu a na media for no so mo ka ho ko betumi hu so biti a whole media station ensem o mo ka fa ahemfo ho ensem o ye ka fa asofo ho ensem enfata ye sa na echichiri man oh aman papa na aba wiase ni nyina na ye de ani de adwumaden sam ye ne mfifire wo mo ede ho bo afore enye wo mo ekɔhye ye furu mu ma entimi de emre na so for delegates to 2 million nsem no
Yeah.
they have a big opportunity to vote for a dedicated patriot will show courage time we are see hunu me de me ho see ho ma party no masum party no so am ye obi so me deliver me adwuma me ye nti me de me feel say almost ma me ye adwuma pa e de aboa
We will vote and cover the Bema, unfortunately, we need vote. But a hard question.
yeah
But yes, be man and no more draw.
and then no be can say I beni be a mubu no o see yes a two toa o see we the two and two me say sir
engineer fatame
you koso
fatame pa obi ani so de hunu say wo kokon a wo be din konim but nipa no so kwa wo dwene mienu
that's right
say konim di ama what next
that's right
me wish ne say nyame be yadom na esi ahene etu ahene for party no be ma otumi no na we lead party no na party net me recapture power 2028 amane sa na jobewi ne fa say running mate early days ba minim say onye ne ba e wo politics mo enti de wo ye bia no wadwene ho wonim future de besi obi for running mate will you be ready to accept
me
that?
am a boss President Kufuor and all can say you we get man na your power cry say we general secretary so the mission and na me so dey asem wa kan very important politics and this about draw him
Okay.
draw him is either you win or you lose the Bruni friends say you have to be emotionally prepared for the two possible outcomes until me I'm able to handle defeat well. In fact, defeat a bomb pie a do there. The way I'm investing personally, chese. You lose here 4 days. Let me pay free. Since that time, no Tembia, even with electoral commission 2008, so we share African elections video. Na name my course no crown. I was able to handle it. enti na me to aba the last time I was able to say go and support man fa say me say ye me number say debi me dey me feel say the obe win no me sire nya me say enkoye me sire party for no say omo tamachi a chitapa Ghana for Jimidi minim sa because o ma hwe me suban say me obi a me di no kre say bi madwema bobio me nkasa basa me nkasa ntiankrofo me ni so odin ade no so me you ade no nya meka mo hu say enye. And when I had to disagree with my own president, I did it with respect. So, enti me feel say the different emotional intelligence. O prepare for the two. Ti ankobane sa me the MPP na me so. Obi enim say time ya twe me asensen kra no. Me be boy na nye se ne. Say yekoto na ekobane se me nya. I will serve in any capacity.
As running mate.
Me see in any capacity. Now running mate they say no cost. They say just one step from the number one. No there say me dey me feel say party na me so. E kwan bi a me fa so a me boa.
Party be to recapture.
And na me no it doesn't have to be me. Just that my idea CB am I espouse my 6-point plan and make one some about land reform, about cutting waste in the public services, restoring professionalism and meritocracy and those things, enforcing law and order in our country, and also having zero tolerance for corruption. Media me side no day. Yeah, and Koyen said no phone. We are there who make serious examples of our own.
Okay.
So who them show and Koyen selective said NDC 4 years, NDC ni ya dia yenka, MPP ni ya dia na. Ya koche no.
Right.
Yes, ani esi chire man.
Menim sa ye won kra bia fe no mani afi e wo MPP mu. Ye din komo yo muti empa. And omunim okro matte kasa omahu nimdi a wo de ba on board. Benefit of the doubt. Why ne engineer Kwabena Agyei Agyepong?
Me di upe mi age anas okay. I say omo enim me.
Obi a wonim wa na ne afi otimi to aba wo party
no.
Okay.
Me obi a masom party no. Me obi susu a uma me adwuma me timi ye. Ena me obi a me kanokre ma bɔ me bra fefefe wo kro mu me yeye ba ko me maye me ensa me civil engineer ena ma som party said de dudu no anim no enti ma som adubu ahen time. In fact 1993 senka ebi adubu ahen be president ebi akam di deputy minister at 31 because who say ye bibia in those days yanko parliament no party ni share cabinet shadow subcommittees. Now the chairman of the mines, lands and natural resources, Dr. Kwame Donkofojo, me any Agyei Labi, who became MP in Akropong. Yen and any 2 deputies in that committee. 1994, koye electoral reform I started BB a friend IPAC and Inter-Party Advisory Committee. I'm one of the nominees, me represented party. That 1994. And I was one of the first people to go into the strong room in 1996 as a member of the National Campaign Committee. At that time, Alhaji Isaka Inusa, and a chairman. And I played a significant role then. So, like I said, by 98, I'm ranting. If you say President Kufuor and then candidate Kufuor, ne ho judodo. Ti epobi ade ho share all the Edina Kofi Rollins. The year dodo for no young executives. Ye kotai. Akufuor do echi. So, I played a leading role in his campaign, and then again in 2000 for President Kufuor. In fact, me na me far phone from the strong room. After President Kufuor on the 28th of December. Say Mampeni, Agbene Ghana be a me for Shiki Ahabo. Oma Twabanu Boomama, you are now the president-elect. Enti, onusu obey president, one cassette man opportunity, ni refi me. Or trim me ban. I was his press secretary for close to 6 years. Timi feel so we munina no, ye near my messia a free, me penny for your saa ho brase adwumaden nimdie so nti 207 aye all kono ejana misade so misi da bi miso me de me betum. I was one of the 17 aspirants that contested in 2007. I was the youngest at the time. I made 45 years. So, and what you know, I served candidate Akufo-Addo in 2008. More my share, go YouTube, go African elections, the movie. You see, could do we not although we're in power, not coming from strong room electoral commission. If you could Van der Poel, Rojo. Sorry. Omugu so sa Tony Edunu.
Right.
Nti party adwuma de me fan say my yebi.
Okay. Quickly, you there may be say are you ready say I'm masenia ye penono na nyame de ono be kan ye ho. O we ni o, wa we ni o. Running me to Dr. Laji Mamodu. Because it seems MPP for no omodo wa bro so say onipa ni hu de obeka apem no. Ati ado ma be po wo gina na de ohwe wo eteto ma onyina gina oni ase kofa baako.
Well, say to me no omunsem na wo. Enti me de ti say de maye ne dada no. Saa na me no. Me de osono no na me so. De metima yesem de ani die be ma wo. Na master nyankopon no be ma me ahoden ni bibi kakra metim de anante won so because enya adwuma ketwa onipa no so mo dos nya wo nyina so na obetimi akohu wo ntina na yenya akonya te se de odi ama me anwumre ya na me de because delegates ni nyina tie all over the places but at least for now no must start share constituency executives, former executives, electoral area coordinators, elders, patrons, former ministers, former MPs.
Okay.
You know, until all I mean, I've been to places where a former minister, you know, and they are all excited. Say, cafes, no, obi crack with the minister that so ne kien friend, and I say, "Kotwaba only vote," but sir, advocacy na me yeah, and no, me pushy yeah, anti party no G bitum asoni amani papi akenya nipa ntina me dwen ho anka bia omo gini nyina tuma kaba na base na Kenya papa because if all those millions of polling station executives from say 2000 used polling station contest na kanwa from 2018 2014 2010 2006 omo nyina abeka ho kwa hwekwa ke bi twembe 1.5 million electoral college eno so bema sikasem no abafom.
Okay.
So, because saying I would made to any 1 million people, but made them say, woman kai party, woman kai omudachi, woman kai woman the new generation, not woman kai se Ghana for so can be biachre because we share elections na sebi adibi ho crowd be ofu say enwa na dey cry ofe. But there's also a nipa na the command on eternal. Those are serious issues. Like I said, you can't risk Lusu election away in 2028 because then the potential is better if you for 12 years and also the bedding and I think that we should put our best foot forward. So now I say this, you know, I feel say almost my ba. Onim party no asum party no woman adwuma so oye me wieye me pe se enokre ka me ka hihye ne ma ye bibia dane kwem saa na me ye madwuma omo nyina anim me ne edin na emom me bu nipa so because edi nipa na ye politics so enye se bi mpanimfo edi nipa e wo form na ye politics no omo de eminim se omo appreciate the Mayama dada no say binimo adansidie na testimony say be nyina me de nyame ase say at least o ma kai say me obi a me ye basa then so ma boa party no and I'm there me de me party sumfo party ba enti nyame nenim de besi abato de say de ba kono kan na bibia timisi
right but facha me ye ko ye time na ye bre no ahebe but say nyame ya dom so na usim hene na wulidi a Obeko Central, Obeko North, and Abeko Eastern, and Abeko Asante region don't even call because one of
Mufanya man temdu. Obroni can be say when we get to that bridge we cross it. When you don't men kahea. The mesre wa na mada wasini we tie for mu tie nyina sɛ nyankopɔn hyira obiara baako na yɛmfasa nnuadɔ ne anidie ɛntena party no na bi mɛsan ɔman Ghana na yɛn nyinaa hu sɛ nneɛma bi wɔ hɔ a ɛkɔ so no a yɛnsesa kakra as a people nyɛ yɛn politicians no nko a yɛn nyinaa saa adwene bi a bɛhyɛ yɛ tiri mu sɛ politics yɛ adidie na yɛkɔ kɔhyɛ yɛ funuma na yɛade no ɛnyɛ yɛnhu sɛ politics no ɛyɛ som na mmom yɛ som a ɛtumi boa ankorankora yɛbɛtumi abɛyɛ nhyehyɛ party sɛ kufoɔ time a wote wo fie koraa na banks de loans ɛkyɛsiw sɛ yɛba na yɛhyehyɛ nneɛma yie a ɛno na ɛbɛboa ankorankora no nti me deɛ masɛm kakra a mede ka ɛde agya yɛ partyfoɔ no sɛ wɔn nkae sɛ wɔn gye di paa sɛ hard work adwumaden ɛyɛ adeɛ a ɛsɛ ɛpay anaasɛ so bi omu nyinaa yɛ adwumaden saa no so omu nyinaa no so omu yɛ bibi na daakye omu nya ho mfaso nti omu hwɛ abra mabɔ wɔ party no na adwumaden a mayɛ and the way me so I've been there and loyal to the party na me gidi sɛ omu soma me I'm someone who's an achiever and as somebody put it you see you have for the first time an engineer as president so the country will be run with engineering precision
right. Mesma so about the twedi ampo Nyankopon se wa ho brase animde ne nyansa Nyankopon de ama woni swade hu emrem the best share you God bless you for your time
me that's it papa
I say ahina tu ahina for so we de yes ye de agu ho papa wo mu fa ope bone so a fa bone kofi tia wa menka.
Thank you for watching. Like, comment, share and subscribe.